till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on CoreTV News at 7. I am Ebulomo Adekunle. The Senate has approved independence candidacy as well as endorsed autonomy for local government councils and state houses of assembly. The lawmakers also adopted constitutional provisions stripping the president of the power to assent to alteration to the constitution. All these are contained in a conference committee report which was presented by the chairman, Senate Committee on a Constitution Review, Ike Ekweremadu, and approved by the Senate. The provisions also separated the office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Attorney General of a state from that of Minister of Justice and Commissioner of Justice. And just after the Senate had adopted the report, its chairman on Rules and Business, Ita Enang, kicked against the process but was ruled out of order by Senate President David Mark. The Nigerian authorities insist that soldiers who engaged insurgents in Damboa last weekend did not break the ceasefire agreement with Boko Haram. They are also convinced that ongoing talks on the release of over 200 abducted Chibok girls would soon yield fruitful dividend. Coordinator of the National Information Center, Michael Murray, told CoreTV News exclusively that talks are at an advanced stage. He also maintained that government negotiators are speaking with the real leadership of the insurgents.
As far as we are concerned, soldiers are not violating anything. Just get it clear that there is no responsible professional army that will sit down and look when bandits terrorize and decimate its population and territory, no matter the condition of ceasefire. Because the army and government of Nigeria is designed to protect and secure the people of Nigeria. So the fact that we had isolated cases of attacks does not generalize the breakdown of the ceasefire. We are trading cautiously. The government is investigating the claims. The armed forces have done what they had to do, but our people are still discussing with the group as promised. And we believe that the conversation that is going on, the dialogue that is going on, will end up the right way. The Principal Private Secretary to the President has been part of the initial discussion, and so therefore you would expect that he will be there to conclude what had been started. What they have said, they are weary of war. We want peace. So whoever is in the group that we are talking with wants peace. And let me even put this straight. If there, as is being speculated, you have 1 million SEC members or different groups, okay, and we're able to get one who has
Reactions have continued to trail the recent ceasefire deal between Nigeria and Boko Haram. A security expert, Onai Homo, has advised the federal government not to swallow hook, line and sinker the deal reached with the dreaded militant group. Homo, who spoke to CoreTV News in Lagos, warns that the ceasefire deal does not translate to end of war, adding that the federal government should be vigilant.
It is quite premature of the federal government to stop fighting because it is not clear that these guys are on their own yet. Well, I guess perhaps in keeping with the ceasefire agreement, they have ceased firing. But once that ceasefire was breached, the government soldiers should be back in operation. The federal government has been a sincere broker, peace broker in this matter. The problem had always been Boko Haram, and that is why we are worried that even with this ceasefire deal, the latest ceasefire deal that has been announced, that is only the federal government side that's announcing it, that BH is not on board announcing the deal. And like I keep saying, unless and until I see Abu Shekau come out and say that, yes, stop fighting, nothing is going to happen.
The national coordinator of the Buhari campaign organization, Audu Ogbe, has apologized to the leadership of the Bring Back Our Girls group for describing them as members of the All Progressives Congress. He noted in a letter of apology made available to journalists that his comments were not intended to paint the protest movement as a subgroup of the APC. The former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party added that less than 2% of the membership of the group are highly valued APC members. Ogbe, during the recent public declaration of Muhammadu Buhari for the presidency, said APC members were at the forefront of the Bring Back Our Girls campaign, a statement which the presidency said proved that the group had always been partisan in its approach. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, has not defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. His special advisor, Imam, said in a statement. He, however, confirmed that the Speaker attended a political meeting with Sokoto State Governor Ali Wamako on Monday, adding that Tambuwal's consultation on his political future continued. The meeting, according to Imam, had in attendance prominent Sokoto citizens, many of whom have no known political affiliation. The most notable being the Saudana of Sokoto and former Minister of Finance Alhaji Abubakar Alhaji. The statements came on the heels of widespread reports in the social media that the Speaker had dumped the ruling party for the APC. A pro-Jonathan support group under the aegis of FCT Indigents and Geopolitical Leaders Forum has joined in the call on President Goodluck Jonathan to contest in the 2015 presidential election. Speaking during a courtesy visit on the elder statesman Edwin Clark in Abuja, leader of the delegation Ayuba Ngbako stated that FCT Indigents have passed a vote of confidence on Jonathan administration and will be conducting a rally to this effect. In his response, Clark commended the group for their support while describing Jonathan as the right man for the job.
Our mission is to mobilize the people of FCT to vote for His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Jonathan before the primaries and after the primaries, including all other contestants under People's Democratic Party, to showcase the dividends and the giant strides of the transformation agenda of the President to the FCT indigents and other Nigerians who cast their vote in Abuja.
This is the first time the indigents and the various personalities or groups or geographical areas that the people of Nigeria living in our capital city have come to express their loyalty, express their willingness to support Mr. President.
The deplorable road condition of the popular Bauchi Strait in Jimeta will any moment from now receive full attention of the Adamawa State's governor. The state's governor, Bala Ngalari, while on inspection of the area, promised that contracts for the rehabilitation of the bad road will be awarded soon. He called on the people of Adamawa State to sustain the peace that is currently being enjoyed in the state for meaningful development. Ngalari, who returned to Yola after joining other PDP governors in Abuja to confer with President Goodluck Jonathan on the state of the nation, tasked the citizens of Adamawa on continued support for his administration.
I consider it very a matter of top priority for me to come and see this road and see what we can do to start this project on this road as soon as possible, but definitely in the shortest possible time. So I want to assure our people here that to work on this road, and subject to available funding, look at other critical areas that directly affect the lives of the common man. Yeah, I'm not concerned about the elites. I'm concerned about Talaka.
It's the CoreTV News at 7. We'll take a break now and we'll be back with more stories. Stay with us.
Glad to have you join us on another edition of The Political Arena, the most detailed and incisive political show.
If you are a sitting governor and the opposition is able to stomach structure against you, that means you are wicked to the people.
They gave me 20 minutes to move or they will shoot me.
He has no chance for survival. If he likes himself, this is the best time to get out before he perishes.
The PDP as a ruling party has failed.
So anybody who thinks that government will fold his hands and allow miscreants to take over the streets of our own state and cause havoc is deceiving himself.
The good, bad, ugly, and beautiful sides of the Nigerian political system. Join me every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. on CoreTV News.
Thank you for being there. And for more news and other information, you can visit our social media platform. On Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, youtube.com/CoreTV with a space, then news. The World Health Organization has officially declared that Nigeria is free of the Ebola virus disease. This, according to WHO official, is because the country has not had any outbreak in the last 42 days, which is 2 cycles of 21-day incubation period for the virus. WHO country representative Ruiga Mavas describes the feat as a spectacular success story at a news conference in Abuja. Pius Samuel has the report.
What began like a major problem on July 20 has now ended as a success story for Nigeria. As at when the American librarian Patrick Sawyer brought Ebola into the country, not many felt it had the wherewithal to stem the tide of a disease that was threatening to spread like wildfire across West Africa. The virus ended up claiming 8 lives, including the index case. But now, Nigeria has been declared Ebola-free.
42 days, it means twice of the incubation period. After the last confirmed case of Ebola virus disease was discharged from the isolation ward, having tested negative for the Ebola virus, the chains of transmission have been broken. WHO officially declares that Nigeria is now free of Ebola virus transmission.
But in spite of WHO's clean bill of health, the Nigerian authorities are not prepared to rest on their oars. Government officials, however, attribute the success story to the country's leadership.
Several people have asked the question, Honorable Minister, what do you think was the most critical success factors in Nigeria's containment effort against the Ebola virus disease outbreak? And I say this very clearly, undoubtedly, the most critical success factor was leadership. I repeat, because I've read a lot, particularly in foreign media. Believe you me, we were there. The most important critical success factor was leadership.
It also provided an opportunity to recall efforts made by concerned Nigerians to tackle the virus. One of such is the hot salt water therapy, which Information Minister Labaran Marco says almost created more problem in the country.
I've dealt with a lot of rumors in the course of fighting Ebola. One thing that's been clear is that you can only defeat an epidemic through public education. I think the rumors sometimes were stronger than the facts. It was an ugly day when we were in Lagos and people said everybody should drink salt water and bath with salt. And we unfortunately lost quite a number of citizens as a result of that rumor.
And as Nigeria joins Senegal as the only two countries to have successfully fought Ebola, government officials admit that the war can only be won when other countries in West Africa are declared Ebola-free. For now, the Nigerian government says high-level surveillance are still on at the nation's entry points to ensure that the mistake of July 20 does not repeat itself. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
In spite of the certification of Nigeria as Ebola-free by the World Health Organization, the Lagos State government has vowed not to disband existing structure that led to the successful containment of the deadly disease. The State Commissioner for Health, Jide Idris, says the facilities will be maintained to fight a reoccurrence of the virus. Abiola Oluwale's report is presented from our studio.
The prompt joint response of the federal and Lagos State government was instrumental to the containment of the deadly Ebola virus disease imported into the country by late Liberian diplomat Patrick Sawyer. WHO statistics reveal there were over 9,000 Ebola cases, resulting in over 4,000 deaths so far. Nigeria contributed 20 cases and 8 fatalities. The State Commissioner for Health, Jide Idris, says Lagos is ready to send volunteers to Sierra Leone to assist. Highlighting the steps taken by Lagos in the containment of the virus, Idris says existing structures like the emergency centers and the cremation law assisted in arresting the spread of the disease. He stressed that the Lagos State government will maintain and upgrade facilities used in the fight against the disease, as well as develop local capacity to curb future occurrence.
As it is now, we will not disband the structure that we put in place. We did not intend to, and we will not, but rather hone on their effectiveness and efficiency. And some of the key factors that helped us, again, in what we was the political will and support at the highest level of governance, including the governor of this state, again, who played a very active role. Members of the State Executive Council, some of us are here, and others, again, who played their own roles on the ground. And again, the activity support by the federal government and all the other external agencies who helped us, WHO, CDC, MSF, UNICEF, etc. There were many. It was a collaborative effort.
He also announced a gesture of 50 million naira to First Consultants Medical Center, urging the government will assist the survivors of the disease.
President Goodluck Jonathan has hailed health workers, volunteers and Nigerians in general for the role played in containing the Ebola virus disease in the country. He also commended the unity of purpose demonstrated by the governments of Rivers and Lagos State and officials of the federal government. Jonathan spoke through his spokesman, Ruben Abati, at the presidential villa shortly after the World Health Organization declared Nigeria free of the Ebola disease.
President Jonathan welcomes to this declaration by the World Health Organization that Nigeria is now officially Ebola-free after 42 days without any incidents of the Ebola virus disease. President Jonathan dedicates the certification to the many patriotic health workers, volunteers, and ordinary Nigerians who work tirelessly, some of them paying the ultimate price in the process, to stop the deadly virus in its tracks after it entered the country in July this year. He believes that Nigeria's globally acclaimed success against Ebola is a testimony to what Nigerians can achieve if they set aside their differences and work together, and he calls on Nigerians to strive to replicate the unity of purpose and the all-hands-on-deck approach adopted against Ebola in other areas of national life. As the nation applauds the success of its collective effort to stop the transmission of the Ebola virus within Nigeria, however, President Jonathan warns that the entire country must remain fully alert and vigilant against the re-entry of the virus.
The Nigerian Medical Association is to spend 50 million naira to train doctors on the best way to handle the Ebola virus disease and other deadly contagious diseases. The fund is to be managed by an emergency response committee, which also has the mandate to open an account where doctors can voluntarily contribute money. NMA President Kayode Obimbe disclosed this in Abuja on the sidelines of the opening of the annual Physician Week.
There's always a standing budget. Now we have a committee already on emergency response, and Ebola is key in this particular committee. And there's a regular budget committee. It only means that whatever money we are raising will be additional to the budget plan that we have fighting this Ebola. For now, the total budget of the medical station depends on the amount that is remitted to us by the Medical Council. But we believe, as of now, the budget we are preparing to the National Executive Council is way up to 50 million. But we don't know how much we are going to raise from this money, which we are also going to add to that budget.
We'll take another break now and we'll be back with a story outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
South African athlete Oscar Pistorius has been given 5 years in jail for killing his girlfriend River Steenkamp by Judge Sokozile Masipa. She also gave Pistorius a 3-year suspended sentence for a firearm charge. The parents of River Steenkamp confirmed happiness with the sentence and believed the case was over. Their defense said it expected Pistorius to serve about 10 months in prison. Pistorius was convicted of culpable homicide but cleared of murder. Prosecutors had called for a minimum 10-year term, and the defense had argued for community service and house arrest.
To be a sentence that is fair and just both to society and to the accused. Count 1, culpable homicide. The sentence imposed is the maximum imprisonment of 5 years imposed in terms of Section 276(1)(I).
And that's it on CoreTV News at 7. Join me again at 9:45 for the primetime news. Thank you for watching. I am Ebulomo Adekunle.